What's going on, everybody? Thank you for taking the time out to watch this video. Today we have a special guest in the house. Her name is Susan with Bitcoin Country. How you doing today, Susan?
I'm doing good, Derwin. How are you?
Doing good. So first of all, let's introduce everyone who you are. I'm sure a lot of people know you that are my subscribers, but to the new ones that just joined on and to future subscribers, give us a little bit of your background and why you got into crypto.
Well, I'm now a cryptocurrency enthusiast. I watched my boss lose a bunch of money in the market downturn of 2008 and decided that before I retired, I needed to get more savvy about financial matters so that didn't happen to me. So in the fall of 2017, I dove in and started self-educating myself, reading books by the likes of Jim Rickards and several others, known economists, and started studying cryptocurrency. Took some cryptocurrency classes and watched. YouTube is an excellent tool to learn. There's a lot of valuable information there, and you can self-teach yourself a lot of things on YouTube. So that's how I got into it, and didn't intend to get into cryptocurrency. Initially, when I ran into cryptocurrency, there was a drastic price decline, and I got scared, and I said, "Oh no, that's too risky for me. I can't afford to do cryptocurrency." So I didn't pay attention to it for a while, and then got into it again. And once I actually started diving into actually learning how Bitcoin works and kept it basic, and I started understanding more about how this works, and that it's more than just currency. It's blockchain technology, and there's going to be a lot of uses for this technology. One thing I did recognize was, from past experience, new technology isn't going away. So you think of the computer age back in the 90s. I watched that. I thought that was too risky back then. Well, maybe, when the dot-com bubble happened, probably 80% of the companies went away, but the ones that survived were, if you had invested in them, you would have done very, very well. So here we are. This is Web 3.0, and I'm fully into it, and just try to keep learning more every day.
Yeah, absolutely. So today's topic is, do you think Bitcoin is going to zero? If so, why? And if not, why?
So I put together some news clips that we're going to go through. We won't spend a lot of time on most of them. I want to give some background first to, how I've kind of navigated through the subject, because there's a lot of conflicting information on the internet, and you have to learn the players that are involved to develop a comfort level for who you believe and who you don't believe, because obviously there's two narratives and they can't both be right. So if you're going to invest in anything, you should do your research before you invest in anything. Otherwise, it's called gambling, and I personally don't like to gamble with money.
Yeah, no, me neither. Right on. So you want to start with the first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Your first post. Let me get that. Share the screen.
Okay, so in the past couple of years, we've seen countries talking about leaving the U.S. dollar or minimizing their use of the U.S. dollar. You think of, you look at what Russia has done. We put sanctions on Russia, and they just did a workaround with gold and the ruble, and they even said they would accept Bitcoin in contracts. So countries do not like to be told what to do. We like to play master of the world, and now that the cryptocurrency is here, people don't have to bow down to the United States anymore.
Yeah. So the first post is about, is this the beginning of the end for U.S. dollar? You want me to read it, or are you going to read it? Or you just want to read the title?
I just that. I mean, you can see that there's a debate raging in the financial markets about whether the seizing of Russia's foreign exchange reserves signaled the end of the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. So know that as countries move away from using the U.S. dollar, that puts the U.S. dollar being the world's reserve currency in jeopardy. Go ahead to the next one. What's the title there?
So the next one is, oh, sorry, let me scroll back up. CNBC article: Washington's trigger-happy sanctions may push countries away from the dollar, says think tank.
And now that there's cryptocurrency, countries are finding ways around that. So it's time to rethink how we strong arm other countries. Go to the next one.
It's true. I just read an article on how Russia is going to start accepting crypto for its fuel, for its oil, natural gas and oil.
I saw that because countries were squawking about not wanting to pay them in rubles.
Yeah.
And so Russia said, okay, pay me another way. This is what I'll take.
Absolutely. More adoption for the Bitcoin. I'm good with it. I hope Russia does get paid for their oil and Bitcoin.
Well, they have the resources, so they're in control.
Yeah.
They're in control of that situation.
Absolutely. It was a big, epic failure on the United States not to be the leading supply in natural gas and oil. So, well, that's a whole different topic. So we'll keep going. Here's the next one. This one's out of the
Wall Street Journal. Is the dollar in danger? Just this article is just pointing out that China is also working. Go to the top. China is also working to take away America's control of the financial system in the world.
China.
So China is also talking about working around the U.S. dollar.
Yep.
They're just a little bit further behind Russia.
Absolutely. Except for their economy is on lockdown, from what I hear and from the stuff that's coming out. And there's not too much they're doing besides, I think they're reserving their supplies because they know it's coming.
Well, what we are seeing is the BRICS nations. The BRICS nations seem to be coming together to oppose the United States. BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and what's the S stand for? I forget. But anyway, that block of countries, and once people start grouping together, they have power. So
absolutely, I'll tell you, the crypto community coming together in a way to change lives and communities throughout the globe is huge. Next article.
Yeah, go ahead.
This one's out of the Daily Hodl.
I found this one interesting because, at least in public, he's not taking a side. Crypto billionaire Brock Pierce says Bitcoin will either crash to zero or explode to $1 million. Now, let's just, leave it at that. I'm not sure why he's riding the fence. He's the chairman of the Bitcoin Foundation, so you'd think he'd be pushing full force, but for some reason he's riding the fence. At least, what's the date of this article?
It is May 7th, 2022. So this is right when the Terra Luna stuff happened, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So that could be the cause of it, the big distraction. and who knows, maybe he's paid to write that, or maybe someone wrote that for him. Who knows?
Yeah, I just wanted to point that out, as that's the only one I could find that actually says it could go either way. So go on to the next one.
This one's out of Telegraph.
Now this one is an article from 2018, but why Bitcoin can never go to zero. Well, as you and I both know, there's an algorithm. All you got to do is listen to even one or two or three Michael Saylor interviews where he talks about the energy that's stored in the Bitcoin and why it's more effective than even a battery at storing energy. The original store of value was gold and silver, and how's that store energy? Well, it takes energy to dig it up out of the ground and mine it, and then move it to wherever you're going to, store it and use it as an exchange of value. This is just advanced technology. Now we can do it with straight electricity straight to the computer algorithm that runs the Bitcoin blockchain.
Yep. We don't even need electricity now. They're learning how to use natural gas to create electricity. They're using ocean water. I did a video on that, on how they're using ocean water to create electricity to mine Bitcoin.
Okay. In Texas, they're using flare gas in several locations. So flare gas is waste gas from oil and gas wells. Instead of flaring it off into the atmosphere, they can now use it to power the Bitcoin mining rigs to produce more Bitcoin. In El Salvador, are they using volcanoes?
Yeah, El Salvador is using a volcano to mine its Bitcoin. I'm sure there's other areas that they're using natural electricity or regular electricity. And
so it just shows you the possibilities are endless, and as this technology evolves, there will be more energy efficient ways of generating Bitcoin.
Absolutely.
Go ahead to the next one.
This one's out of You Today.
Bitcoin very likely going to zero, says Warren Buffett's right-hand man, Charlie Munger. You want to show his picture? So
Kind of looks like a Munger, doesn't he?
Well, Warren and his buddy here, they're in their 90s. I think Charlie Munger's like 98, and Warren's a few years behind him, but they run, they run Berkshire Hathaway, and they're all in on stocks and bonds. So why would they push anyone to new technology that, quite frankly, they don't understand? I mean, it's been hard enough for me as a middle-aged person to it's taken a lot to try to grasp it, and I would consider myself nothing but basically and still relatively a novice.
Right.
Okay, go to the next one.
This one's out of Fortune.
This one makes me smile because I remember when Warren Buffett said this. He called Bitcoin rat poison. Funny thing is, and I had heard this, I don't know, 2 years ago, that Warren Buffett secretly behind the scenes under, subsidiaries, he was investing in crypto technology. So what's the date of this article?
This one's February 16th, 2022.
Okay. I didn't pull it up, but he's apparently invested in a Bitcoin city. Did you hear about that one?
Yes.
Okay. I think for the railway, but is part of it. But for him to call Bitcoin rat poison several years ago when he was investing in the future of the technology is very hypocritical, misleading to the public. So now, and I used to think a lot of Warren Buffett, but now when he speaks, especially when he speaks about cryptos and Bitcoin, which I know he doesn't know very much about, and he's misled us on that. Whatever he says, I look 180 degrees the other way. And that's why I put the slides of him and Charlie Munger in here. So
Yeah,
you can,
it says right here specifically his company has bought $1 billion worth of stock in a digital bank that focuses on crypto. After calling it rat poison. So,
yeah, and this, like I said, this isn't the only thing. I had heard over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, that he was invested in a Bitcoin city that's being proposed. I don't remember if it's Arizona, New Mexico, somewhere in that area. I'm not sure which state it's in. And who knows? It may be a couple more years before that even comes out.
right.
Okay, so go to the next one.
I know they got a Bitcoin city coming out in Nevada.
Okay, it was Nevada then.
Okay.
Different outlook. Bitcoin price could exceed $1 million by 2030.
Now, do you think this is just FOMO to get it to pump again? When this come out? This came out Saturday, May 28th, 2022. Came out today. So it's funny how these articles, as you look through them, some are from a week ago or longer when the market took a crap, and now that it's kind of stabling out, these articles come out saying that they can go to 1 million. So it's kind of like
this one says January 28th of this year.
Oh, I read this up here. Oh, maybe.
Go down a little bit. It says January 28th. It says updated January 28th.
Oh, updated January 28, 2020.
I just wanted to show that you've got people all over the place on where it's going.
Yeah.
It's rat poison to Warren Buffett, and other people say it's going to 1 million. I do think the value is going to go up based on how Bitcoin is structured with the halving. So at some point we'll get in. I think the next one is the halving chart.
Next one.
Let's talk about that. What is the halving? Well, I'll just read some of this.
All right.
Hold still here. Bitcoin halving is when the payout for mining a new block is halved. So what that means is there's rewards for mining a block of Bitcoin. And if you go go down a little bit, it'll show you the chart of where it started. There, in 2009, when the first block was created, you would get your block reward for producing that block. You'd get 50 Bitcoin. 2012, it halved. Now your reward for doing the same amount of work is 25. 2016, it halved again to 12.5. In 2020, it was cut again in half to 6.25. And now the next halving is supposed to occur in 2024. They're estimating March 2nd. The block reward will go down to 3.125. And basically, generally, what this means is that the algorithm and how it's structured is that for the same amount of work, it's going to produce less Bitcoin, which will make really you're going to have, it's a scarcity issue. So the Bitcoin over time, as less Bitcoin is available and less Bitcoin is available to be mined, and the rewards are lower, we would expect, based on this just simple mathematics, supply and demand, that the price will go up.
Right. Yep. Totally agree. So do we want to look at the daily chart?
Sure.
So Bitcoin's now hovering around, last time I checked, let's see what it says now, $28,794.35, which has gone down since yesterday. What is that? in the last, or 2.75% in the last 24 hours.
So there are people that still think it may go down some. It may, but I generally, big picture, see it probably, I'm no expert, but I'm expecting that it'll probably just move sideways within a range for part of the summer before it really does much of anything. Could it go down? How much did you say that one guy thought it may go down to?
I'm guessing around 20. We probably could see it hit 20 before it goes back up.
Can you zoom out any further as far as time frame, longer than a couple of years?
Zoom out or zoom backwards?
Backwards, so we can see more years of the Bitcoin data.
That's as far as this one will let me go.
Okay, that's fine.
But I think I can change it to 1 month. That shows it back here in 2018. So that's at the 30-minute 1 month.
Okay, that's really enough to show everybody that even though Bitcoin has been very volatile, it went up to $67,000 or $68,000, and it's come down quite a bit. Look how much higher it is than it was back in 2018 and 2019 and even early 2020.
Yep. Let's see, I got in back here somewhere, and it was in between those two numbers right after 2017, and then got in again at the beginning of 2020 at around 18,000. I think it was around 18,000. So it might have been the end of 2019, somewhere around in here. And then
I got into Bitcoin around $11,000. I rode it up to 25, and then I got scared that it was going to crash, and so I sold. But it continued up to 67,000. So, but live and learn. That's the thing. I got in this very slowly. The advice was given to me was just dip your toe in, because if you got skin in the game, you'll pay attention and you'll learn. I had less than $1,000 I had put in Bitcoin. But boy, I paid attention to it, and I really got into learning.
And you doubled your money, got out. So really, you're smarter than a lot of investors.
That's about the extent of my trading. I'm mostly a hodler. I'm everything I have is in US fiat dollars, which we know are very sketchy, and they're printing money. As someone happily pointed out on Twitter the other day, when someone can print money anytime they want, it's also known as a Ponzi scheme. So at some point, I think a lot of economists agree we're at the end of the US dollar, as far as 1913 to now. Our currency is in trouble, and that's showing by this high inflation, which is probably definitely not temporary. We're at the end of this currency life cycle, which is why I've decided to spread some risk out.
Yeah, I usually tell my clients, get some gold, silver, cryptos, and some type of asset that you can trade if things were to hit the fan and banks were to shut down or something like that. Stock up on food, water, long-term MREs, or whatever the case may be, but have some bartering material. And even if the cryptos, say the internet goes down, you can't use your cryptos, you can use your silver or your gold or your bags of rice, because you have a lot to get whatever else you may or may not need. So
right, and so your cryptos don't disappear if the grid goes down. It just means you can't get on there and use it.
right. But then also it could be on in other countries, so you could then, if you had a way to get to another country via private jet or boat or something, maybe their system is up and you can use your cryptos over there. So,
well, hopefully we're only looking at minor conveniences. You know, they've been dropping hints a lot the last few weeks that we're going to have um, rolling blackouts. We have grid issues.
solar flares.
So actually was today my generator was delivered. I finally bought a generator.
Nice.
So I'm prepared. I'm not going to lose my freezers full of food. And I like hot showers. So, you know, if the grid is down 2 or 3 days, I'm going to still be showering. And what I look for is that they'll have rolling blackouts like they do. I mean, you've had them in California for years.
Yep. So I got out of there, and I made sure the camper or the travel trailer fifth wheel that we bought came with the generator because the supply chain was down. We were looking at new generators, and they were not coming with the camper. You had to wait 9 months or sign a piece of paper saying you're going to take it without the generator, or try and find one online. So it was better to buy used. It comes with the generator. We filled up both tanks with real fuel, not the fuel that has ethanol, but real fuel in case, emergency power grid goes down, we can start our generator and still have power.
You know, I've had a couple people of my friends comment that I sure worry a lot. No, I don't worry. I call it being prepared. You know, I've got a lot of food in my freezers, and if the grid's down a few hours, fine. I mean, you just don't open your freezers. But if for some reason it goes out for 2 or 3 days or a week, or look what happened when they had the ice storms in Texas. How long was the electric out for some of those people? 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep.
I would lose everything. I'm not going to lose everything. It's called insurance.
Yep.
Like gold is monetary insurance. My generator is insurance against my self-sufficiency, my electrical grid here at my home. So
Yep.
I protect my assets in more ways than one.
Be prepared, not scared. You still have one more article up here. Do you want to go through that one?
Sure, let's hit that last one.
Alrighty.
Oh, this is a chart that shows the halving in chart form. So if you want to just go down a little bit, right there. Right there. So the blocks line up and down at the beginning. Can you show that? Point to this before the halving or at the halving? Right, that line right there that goes up and down, that's the halving point where the block rewards are cut in half. After a halving, it tends to go up, actually by quite a bit. Okay, and then after a certain period, and I can't read the small numbers, there is a downtrend.
Yep.
And then after that downtrend, then there's a sideways movement, maybe up a little bit until the next halving.
Yep.
And look, then the next halving occurs and it repeats itself. It goes up. Then after a while, it starts to run down and then sideways, maybe slightly up before the next halving. So based on the patterns that have been occurring after each halving, we can relatively predict. And that next halving is supposed to occur in, what did I say, March of 24. So it looks like we are somewhere we're obviously in the down phase part of it.
Yep.
We probably aren't in the moving sideways portion before the next halving. We've got a long way to go before the next halving. So I expect we'll see a lot of volatility, and we'll get into the sideways action for a long time before the next halving. So the thing I see out of that is that I definitely want to buying before the next halving is a good place to be. We always try to buy low, sell high. Like I said, I'm mostly a hodler. I dollar cost average in, but I do hold a bag of money off to the side for when we have big dips like this that I can come in and get a little extra.
Some dry powder. Yeah. Now, for newer people wanting to get into cryptos, what would you suggest they do? DCAN or throw their whole bag at it since it's at a lower price than its all-time high, or like you said earlier, just dip your toe in it? And then do you suggest them only get into Bitcoin, or should they try out other coins as well?
Personally, I would say dip your toe in with a small amount, whatever you deem that small amount to be, say $500. Do, do your research, learn all you can. Watch all kinds of YouTube videos. You can call Open-Minded Bitcoin for help for learning how Bitcoin works and what wallets to use and security issues. But start slow. Learn all you can. Get help from someone who's been doing this for a while. And because that actually will speed up your progress a lot. I did not have the opportunity to learn that way. There was nobody doing crypto consulting when I started learning about crypto. But I do think it is a good move to start with the granddaddy of them all, the original, the, you know, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is considered the most stable in a very volatile market.
Right. And it's also on an uptrend. So yeah, it's down right now, but in the long run, it's done nothing but gone up. So a lot of people freak out when they see this, but then they don't go back and look at where it was.
Well, you know what I call Bitcoin at 67,000, then going down to 28,000? It's 28,000 now. I call that buying stuff when it's on sale.
Yeah.
And I'd much rather pay 28,000 for a Bitcoin than 67,000. So,
Yeah.
and of course, you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. If you don't know, Bitcoin is divided into down to seven decimal places. 7, 8.
I think it's 8.
I think I said that wrong. I like the number 7. It goes down to 8 decimal points. You can buy a very small amount.
It's just like my friend said that he wanted to buy a whole Bitcoin if he got in, and I'm like, you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can buy part of a Bitcoin. You can buy $100 worth of Bitcoin. You can buy $10 worth of Bitcoin, and you can buy it on all different types of apps. So you don't even need to go to an exchange.
And actually, it wasn't my first place to start, but for a beginner, I recommend Cash App. Do you have a link for that?
Yep, links
Okay.
to
Why don't you put it in the description box below
yeah,
the video?
all links will be down below in the description box.
On Cash App, you can only buy Bitcoin, but it is so easy to use that I think it's a good place for people to start. And actually, I like it so well that I buy all my Bitcoin on Cash App. So I connect my bank account to it, and I put money over every week. It's set up to automatically go there. And then I will, when I have, a few hundred in Bitcoin, then I will move it off the Cash App into my own private wallet. I would not leave a large amount of Bitcoin in the Cash App because you're not holding the keys.
Right. It's one of those either buy, use here and there, maybe leave a little bit on in case you do need to pay bills or something if you're in that tight situation, and then the rest you move into your own offline personal storage wallet. And if you need help finding those wallets, I have links down in the description below on which wallets I recommend, and also videos that you can go back and watch.
So that would be my suggestion for anybody that's new. You've heard the KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid. Well, after learning other wallets and getting on exchanges and signing up for all of these accounts, it's just so handy for me to use Cash App for my Bitcoin purchases. Now, I do have some other cryptos. I am invested in the Divi project and also Theta. And I bought those through different avenues, but it's just so easy to use the Cash App.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
So there's my meanderings, musings on, is Bitcoin going to zero? No. Bitcoin's been around since 2009. It's new technology. You see El Salvador is using it as the reserve currency now. And about a week ago they had 44 other countries and banks over for a meeting to talk to them about how they could make it their reserve currency. Bitcoin's not going away. Crypto's not going away.
Especially if they start using it for trade, for oil and mass quantity distributions. Yeah, definitely is not
right.
going to
So there's the important thing about the cryptos is it's a way to electronically send money very quickly, a unit of value very quickly to pay for things. I personally never wired any money. I tried to about 2 years ago to buy some crypto, and my bank kept rejecting me and wouldn't allow me to. And I said, it's my money. I know who I'm dealing with. Let me send my money. No, we're trying to protect you. Well, I don't need protecting. And if you do get a wire transfer, they're usually about 40 or 50 bucks. So can you imagine? And who would use these a lot? That what I'm familiar with is, because I've been around the farming community all my life. The bigger farmers, they have migrant workers or people who have moved, say from Mexico. They work here and they send money home all the time. And so every time they send money home, it costs them 40 or 50 bucks. Well, if they get a Bitcoin wallet with Bitcoin in it, and their family member at home has a Bitcoin wallet, they can send 20 bucks if they wanted to home. They can send it whenever they want and not have to pay that $40 or $50 fee. Are there fees with sending money through with Bitcoin? Yes, but they're so small compared to what the banks and the wiring agencies charge. It really is. All these years, people that have to do business across borders, especially poor people who are sending money home to their families working out of the country. That's a very, very high tax to be able to facilitate that transaction.
Oh yeah, Walmart to Walmart, it's a ripoff. It's ridiculous.
So I look forward to more people, the average Joe like you and I. I look forward to more people getting into crypto and seeing what it can do for them. Definitely is a way to work around the central banking system. I did not put it in here, but I had seen an article. Christine Lagarde with the IMF, International Monetary Fund. She recently said Bitcoin is going to zero, but keep in mind she's a central banker, and they're working on developing central bank digital currencies to roll out to us. And if you don't know about that, I'd do some looking into that. It's very, very important what's coming up in the next few years. Central bank digital currencies would be controlled by the central banks, and they're going to have all kinds of limitations on them. If they want to, they could, under any kind of like environmental social credit score, if you say something on your Facebook that they don't like, they could freeze your account and say, well, you can't use your bank account for a week.
Yeah, and if you're a little bit overweight, they could limit you on what type of Snickers you could buy.
I'll be in trouble if I can't buy chocolate.
Yeah.
Okay, Logan, it was nice talking to you today. I hope everyone got something out of this. I hope it alleviates some fears people may have about the volatility of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to continue to be volatile as this new technology finds its way in the world. We're in the phase of Bitcoin adoption, and it's going to take a number of years.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
So you can profit off the volatility. Just keep it simple. Don't invest without learning what you're getting into. Dip your toe in and then really learn. buy low, sell high. Don't ever break that rule. Buy low, sell high. And if you're in it for the long haul, say for 10 years, if it's a long-term thing for you, if this is part of your money for later, for retirement, or even just, especially for long-term, buy it, custody it in your own wallet, and learn how to do that. Learn how to keep it secure. You'll be fine, because keep in mind, there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin mined, and even in the United States alone, there's over 300 million people.
Yep.
So even I heard all the millionaires in the world won't each be able to buy a single Bitcoin.
Right. Yeah. No. And that's the thing about it. Once all the Bitcoin is sought after and people are really starting to jump into this space, it's going to be late. So if you're not in it now, I suggest you get in it, understand it, learn it, and maybe even jump in with some Litecoin. Litecoin, you can spend it very easily. There's a Litecoin card. I have a video for it with a link. So it teaches you how to use it, how to sign up for it, and a link to find it directly. And with Litecoin, it's also, there's only going to be so ever many of those, and it's the next longest project that's been running, not on the same blockchain, but on its own blockchain, mirrored of Bitcoin. So it took Bitcoin and made it faster, cheaper, and I say more user friendly for peer-to-peer transactions. So that being said, thank you for coming on, Susan. Really appreciate it, and hope you guys did get something out of this video. If you did, smash the likes, share it with your friends. If you're watching the channel and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It's free. It doesn't even cost you a Bitcoin. So that being said, thank you for watching.